Ancient Egypt, 3150 BC to 30 BC. The ancient Egyptians kept remarkably detailed records of their history, culture, and daily life, leaving behind a wealth of information about their society. This makes it possible for us to reconstruct the lives of ancient Egyptians from 3150 BC to 30 BC, and explore the many accomplishments of one of the most influential civilizations in world history. Egyptians, 3150 BC to 2686 BC, early dynastic period. The ancient Egyptians are believed to have begun recording their history with the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt around 3150 BC by King Narmer. This date is often cited as the beginning of Egyptian civilization. However, evidence suggests that there was some degree of cultural exchange between Egypt and Mesopotamia before this time. For example, the Egyptians kept domesticated animals similar to those found in ancient Mesopotamian art. Also, the Egyptians used a type of Mesopotamian script known as hieroglyphics, which were used throughout the ancient world. These similarities suggest that Egyptian culture may have been influenced by Mesopotamian culture prior to the unification of Egypt under King Narmer. Regardless of any external influences, the unification of Egypt under King Narmer's rule marked a significant turning point in Egyptian history. It led to the establishment of the early dynastic period, which lasted from around 3150 BC to 2686 BC. During this time, Egypt was ruled by a series of kings known as the First Dynasty. The first kings of Egypt were largely responsible for laying the foundations of Egyptian society. They established Memphis as the capital city and set up a system of government that would be used for centuries to come. Early Egyptian society was heavily influenced by the Nile River. In fact, much of the country's population lived along its banks, and the river's annual floods were an important part of the Egyptian economy. The Egyptians kept domesticated animals such as cattle, sheep, and goats, and they grew crops such as wheat, barley, and flax. They also developed a sophisticated system of irrigation to water their crops during the dry season. The economy of early Egypt was largely based on agriculture, but there was also a significant amount of trade. The Egyptians traded with other cultures throughout the region, including the Nubians to the south and the Levantines to the north. They traded goods such as gold, ivory, and exotic animals. Egyptian religion was also closely tied to the natural world. The Egyptians believed that the Nile River was a god, and they worshipped a number of other gods associated with the sun, moon, and stars. They also believed that the pharaoh was a divine ruler, and that he was responsible for maintaining order in the universe. As such, the pharaohs were often deified after their death. Early Egyptian religion was largely polytheistic, but there were also some elements of monotheism. For example, some Egyptians believed that the pharaoh was a manifestation of the sun god Ra. Egyptian art and architecture were also highly developed during this period. The Egyptians built massive pyramids as tombs for their pharaohs, and they decorated these structures with intricate carvings and paintings. Egyptian art was largely symbolic, and it often depicted scenes from mythology or everyday life. Sadly, much of what we know about early Egyptian civilization comes from the artifacts and ruins that have survived for thousands of years. However, it's likely that much more information about this important period of Egyptian history has been lost forever. Still, the information that has survived paints a picture of a complex and sophisticated society that was well ahead of its time. The Egyptians developed a writing system, built impressive structures, and developed a unique art form. They also had a deep understanding of mathematics and astronomy, which they used to develop a calendar. Additionally, the Egyptians kept detailed records of their history, culture, and daily life, leaving behind a wealth of information about their society. What's your favorite thing about ancient Egypt? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, Don't forget to check out the series Ancient Civilizations. Thanks for watching.